Hello and welcome to 2CrazyMedia. I'm your host Matthew, and today I'm going to be going over and recapping today's Nintendo Direct Partner Showcase. That's right, today was the first partner showcase for Nintendo, I believe, of the Switch 2 generation. We are now on year 2 of the Switch 2, even though the Switch 2 is not even a year old. So, still pretty new to the console generation, I'd say. And finally, we have a partner direct. And so that was this morning at 6 in the morning Pacific time. I was not able to watch it live because I was not going to wake up at 6 in the morning for this. So I did watch it a little later today, and now I'm going to recap it, kind of go over all of the announcements and all the games and release dates and stuff that they showed off today in this video, and kind of go through them all, share my thoughts and just share my overall review and kind of opinion of today's partner showcase that happened. Final thing, partner showcase, the thing to remember is that this is not some place where Nintendo was going to reveal any new first party titles. We're not going to get a new Mario game or a new Zelda or anything like that. This is more for their partner, their third party studios that they're working with, and games that are being ported over from Nintendo Switch 1, and also games that were not on Nintendo Switch consoles before, but have been out on, say, Xbox and PlayStation that are now coming to Nintendo Switch. So that's what today's showcase was all about. And kind of going into it, I kind of gave some of my thoughts on Sunday when I talked about the rumor of this and some of my hopes of what could have been announced. I was thinking some, games coming over a lot, like I said, Indiana Jones and some other stuff. But another thing I was like, well, we gotta see, if you're talking about what's the big sort of partner third-party game coming to the Switch, what's their biggest thing this year they've got so far, that's the Dust Bloods coming from FromSoft. Like, that's a big deal. So you would think they would have shown it here today, but they did not. But instead, let's talk about what they did show. So let's get into it. I'm gonna just go through in order of what was shown and just kind of talk about it. So the first game that we got was another trailer for the game Orbitals. This, I believe we got the reveal trailer of this game at the Game Awards just a few months ago now, and it kind of was a pleasant, nice surprise. It was really the first time I've seen a game that's really trying to be like a Hazelight game. If you don't know Hazelight, the people that make It Takes Two, A Way Out, Split Fiction, that developer who they're kind of known for that one kind of game. Well, Orbitals is very similar to that kind of game, where it is one of those couch co-op, split-screen games where you're playing with a friend or online or just couch co-op and kind of going through a story. And Orbitals, I remember seeing it for the first time. It looks awesome. The animations, this anime style of it looks great. It just looks gorgeous, and it looks visually stunning, especially for a Switch 2 exclusive. It looks amazing. It looks so good, and this is another great trailer. This is, I think, the second time we've seen it now at an event. And again, it looked fantastic. This is probably my favorite game of the showcase, not to kind of spoil the rest of the showcase and how it went, but this was definitely my game of the showcase, just as, wow, this is shocking. I liked what I saw at the Game Awards, but I honestly liked it even more here. So Orbitals is one that is coming out. They announced summer 2026 at the end of the trailer, coming to Switch 2, so that'll be interesting. I'm excited to see how it plays, what people think about it when it releases this summer, but that was a great reveal already. Then, the second game they showed off is Paranormasight, The Mermaid's Curse, coming February 19th. I don't have too many thoughts on this game. A lot of these games I'm not going to have much thought on, to be honest with you. More so just, this game was announced. That's just kind of Nintendo for me, and I think for a lot of people, is they have so many games to show off in these stuff, and a lot of these games are kind of more in the style of animated, whether it's JRPGs or just these games that they're really not my cup of tea, I'll be honest. They're not what I'm into in terms of video games, but there's still stuff that could look cool, and I think a lot of people will like it. So I will still go over them, but I just won't talk as much at length than maybe some other stuff that was announced. So yeah, we got Paranormal Sight, The Mermaid's Curse. This honestly looks like a pretty cool mystery game where there's some cool functions in the game with sort of interrogation and mystery and trying to find out who, I guess, the suspect is. Some deep sea diving in the trailer as well, which looks cool. So yeah, overall, it looks like a fun experience. It's coming out in just a few weeks from now. So if you're interested in this, how about go pre-order it and get ready because it's coming out soon. But yeah, that was Paranormal Sight. Alrighty, then next up we got Captain Tsubasa 2 World Fighters, which is coming this year. This is like a sports RPG soccer game, and it looks really cool. It looks like a fun anime inspired soccer game coming to Switch and Switch 2. That it looks fun. I'm not a big soccer fan, but yeah, you can kind of just expect from what I say of it's an anime soccer game with some cool stuff in it. And yeah, if that gets you excited, then it's coming out this year. Alrighty. Next up, we have Tokyo Scramble. This is an interesting one. There was it kind of follows the main character. I believe her name is Anne, and basically what happens in the game is that she's on a train and there's a cave-in that sends her underground, and so she's got to escape the Tokyo underground, but she's getting chased by these they're dinosaurs. These dinosaurs, but they had a weird name for them. I'm trying to remember what the name was for these things, but I can't because it was random and they should have just called them dinosaurs. But alas, yeah. This is like a survival game where you can't actually attack the dinosaurs directly. You have to kind of use stealth and use the environment, and maybe there's a crane or something that they showed in the trailer that you can pick dinosaurs up with. So it's kind of more like a strategic stealthy game than a action stealth game where you kind of are. And they showed off an interesting feature where you can use some Switch Online features to have 4 players play the same character at once. So one player controls the movement, one player controls another thing, and another player controls another thing. It's it looks like honestly, it looks like it'd be a total mess to play with friends, and that could be fun. But the game itself, I will be honest, doesn't look great. It comes out February 11th, so pretty soon from now, and I don't think that's a great sign. Yeah, low-key, this game did not look good. It looked bad. The textures looked pretty terrible. The lighting looked like something you'd see on a PS3 game. Overall, there was not a good showing of whatever this game was, and hey, it could end up coming out and being good, but it didn't show that well at the showcase. So yeah, that's Tokyo Scramble. If you're maybe interested in checking out, then I guess check out the trailer, but if not. Alrighty, next we got a trailer for Valheim, which is a popular survival game that is coming now to Switch 2 later this year. They announced just 2026. It's originally on PC. It became a massive thing years ago where it just blew up and became this massive phenomenon. Valheim is a game that I've never played it, but I've seen many YouTube videos on it, and it looks like a ton of fun. It looks like a really good survival game, kind of almost like a substitute for Minecraft if you ever get bored of that. And it looks like a ton of fun. You can play with 10 friends online on the Switch with you. It looks like a fun Viking survival game. So if you're interested in Valheim and have always wanted to check it out, but you're a Switch 2 player, then yeah, there you go. Alrighty. Next, they announced Hollow Knight Nintendo Switch 2 Edition, which is coming out today. So pretty fun surprise. That's right, the cult classic indie smash hit Hollow Knight, the original, is finally coming to Switch 2. It's getting a big Switch 2 upgrade. It's already been on Switch 1 for a while now, and so finally it's with increased frame rate, enhanced visuals. It's coming to Switch 2. They said that if you own the game on Switch 1, then you can upgrade it to the Switch 2 version for free, which is great. Love when Nintendo does that. But yeah, overall, I mean, it's a great game. If you want to it's a great time to kind of, if you've played Silksong and haven't played Hollow Knight, the original one yet, then this is the best time to go, if you have a Switch 2, and check it out. So yeah. Alrighty, next was eFootball Kickoff, which is coming summer 2026. This is, if you don't know what eFootball is, it was kind of like the successor to Pro Evolution Soccer, which was like, for a while, kind of the rival to FIFA or EA Sports FC, but never really reached that level that FIFA was on ever, so it's kind of always in its shadow. And they rebranded a few years ago to eFootball. I remember when the first eFootball came out and it did not do well. People kind of hated on it. So, but now it's coming to Nintendo Switch 2. So if you ever wanted, earlier we talked about there was a anime-inspired soccer game, Captain Tsubasa 2 World Fighters. But if you're not into something, if you like soccer, but you're not into you don't want a soccer anime game, you want your soccer to be more realistic, I guess, with real players and stuff, then eFootball Kickoff could be a good choice for you. It's coming out summer, so probably around the same time as Captain Tsubasa. And yeah, I think for me, if I were to choose which one to play, I would definitely pick Captain Tsubasa. This just kind of looks more like a normal. So if you're into soccer and kind of want to play as the actual real life players and the real life teams at the real stadiums, then definitely this could be the game for you on the Switch. Alrighty. Next, actually finally getting to another cool game, we have The Adventures of Elliot, The Millennium Tales. This is a game we've seen a few times now, sort of an indie game coming from Square Enix, which I guess is not indie, but looks indie-ish. And this game, every single time I've seen it, looks really cool. It's got this kind of cool-looking Octopath-like art style and like look to it, which I like. It's another just Square Enix HD 2D adventure that's kind of got this interesting character. He's got like a fun little fedora, like a kind of Discord mod fedora, which is cool, and a cool scarf. He's got a scarf, which I find to be very memorable. Got like this red scarf in the back, and that's how I always remember this game is, it's the character with the scarf. So yeah, they talked about some cool features in the new trailer today where it's kind of like you're spanning through different eras. One being like where humans almost ended, another era where humans sort of civilization started to boom. So that's pretty cool. Different eras, and different eras you can unlock different weapons that are exclusive to that one. So that's all interesting, looks fun. I don't know if it's necessarily a game for me, but I think this could review well. I think it looks good. I think it's definitely interesting enough for a lot of people to check it out. And yeah, it is coming out June 18th, 2026. Alrighty. Next, they announced the Super Bomberman collection, which is coming out today on the Switch. So if you've ever wanted to, if you were a fan of the Bomberman games back in the day, and you wanted to go say, hey, I want to check out a Bomberman game again, an old one, I want to replay it, then here's your chance. There's a collection of a bunch of old Bomberman games coming to the Nintendo Switch today. So if you enjoyed that, if you're interested in that, go check it out. Alrighty, another sort of big announcement. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is finally getting a Switch 2 port, June 3rd, 2026. This is, I would probably think as of now, or when it's coming out, probably the biggest game that will be on the Switch too. And that's just because this game is humongous. Because I know Final Fantasy VII Remake is on the Nintendo Switch too, and it looks great. Looks amazing. I'm sure it plays really well. And that game is massive, but if you say you've played that, you're only on Switch and you want to play Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, but you've been waiting, here's finally your chance, coming June 3rd, and I fully recommend. I've played both Remake and Rebirth and loved both. I think they're both masterpieces. I don't know if I've ever really talked about Final Fantasy VII and my experience with it on this channel, but I guess a quick summary now, I guess. Just because I do want a chance to talk about it. I never played it originally. I was just too young when it was coming out. Or I think at the time, probably not even born when the original came out. Like, it's that old. But yeah, just never really played it. It was my first Final Fantasy game because I played Remake when it came to Xbox Series X with like the Xbox Series X edition. Right? Like, it was probably a year before Rebirth was coming out. I was like, I'm going to check out Remake just randomly. I'm like, I've never played a Final Fantasy game, but this looks like it could be interesting. I want to expand my horizons with video games. And I instantly fell in love with it. I absolutely love Final Fantasy VII Remake. I would honestly put it in like my top 50 games of all time. I loved it that much. I just had such a great time with it. Story instantly hooked me, and I love the characters, just the whole party that you go with in these games. Just one of my favorite sort of groups of characters in really any video game. So I absolutely love Remake. And then Rebirth came out. Loved it so much. I mean, just a bigger and crazier version of Remake with they're going full open world now. Tons of side missions, tons of just things to do, side things, exploration. It was just crazy. Honestly, it was a little too much for me at times, where I'm just like, I just want to experience this really good story, but I'm doing crazy stuff and constantly just getting distracted because that's just the player I am when it comes to open world games like this. But yeah, both of the games are fantastic. If you've been waiting to play Final Fantasy VII Rebirth on the Switch, finally, here's your time. I highly recommend. Both games are masterpieces, and it looks pretty good. I remember when Rebirth came out, it kind of had some issues, especially the graphics with the open world. If you weren't playing on like a PC, then it could look a little shoddy and weird in different areas. Like, I was playing on PS5, and some parts of the open world just did not look good, and the frames would drop, and it just looked kind of ugly, I'll be honest. They later fixed it and did some updates, and it now looks much better, but this kind of reminds me of that, where it's a little blurry. It doesn't look great. I would honestly even say that Final Fantasy VII Remake looks better on the Switch 2 that I've seen than this. But we'll have to wait and see. Again, it's not coming out until June 3rd, so they have some time to kind of work on it even more. Alrighty. Next up, we got another trailer and a new look at Pragmata. This is Capcom's another Capcom game coming out this year. They're having a great year, or gonna have a great year, hopefully. And so this game's coming out April 24th. We've seen this game a good amount of times now for a few years. We're getting closer and closer to the release date. And it looks great. Honestly, I don't need to see more. I just want to play this game. This game looks awesome. It is a must-play for me personally this year. I cannot wait for the game to finally come out in April. But one thing I've talked about on the channel that I've been really waiting for and excited for is the demo. At the Game Awards, they released the demo on PC, but announced that it would be coming on a later date to consoles. And I've been waiting ever so patiently ever since for this demo. I've talked about it on the channel a couple times now, where I'm like, where is this demo, Capcom? I want to play Pragmata. And finally they announced that the demo is coming today, is out now on consoles. I've already downloaded it on my PlayStation. I'm going to play it after this. I'm super excited to check it out. But yeah, Pragmata, I don't even need to see more. This is a must-buy for me. I cannot wait. And it looks great on Switch. So that's awesome. Next up, we got Turok Origins, which is coming out fall 2026. This is another game coming to all consoles, so both PlayStation, I believe Xbox as well, and also Switch 2. We got the reveal a little while ago, but no gameplay. This is our first gameplay of Turok Origins. And if you don't know, Turok is a pretty old sort of franchise. It's been dormant for a while now, and it's finally back. It's just one of those games where you can either play in first or third person, and you can either play by yourself or with friends, and you have different cool abilities and cool futuristic looking guns and stuff, but you're fighting dinosaurs. And it looks fun. It looks like a good time. I don't know much about Turok, I'll be honest with you. But this game looks like a good time, honestly. I think if there was ever a trial or a demo for this game, I would check it out. I don't know if this is a game I would play personally, just because it doesn't seem like it's too big of a focus on the story. It seems more just cool first person or third person. It looks good. Like, it looks great on the Switch too, which I'm really pleasantly surprised about. That's awesome. Yeah, it is coming out fall 2026, so later this year. So you got to wait a little longer if you're a Turok fan, you're looking forward to this. But low-key, the technology, pretty impressive. I mean, Saber Interactive always kind of knocks it out of the park, though, with graphics, though. They are a really good studio. I feel like we need to have more talks about how good Saber is. But yeah, this looks good. Alrighty. Next up was Kyoto Xanadu, coming summer 2026. I don't have much to say about this. It is an action RPG where students improve their stats, hang out with friends, and dive deep into the depths of the mysterious Xanadu. It was kind of a mashup of like 18 different games where it felt like Persona at times, where you're in classes and you're running around. It's a cool version of Xanadu Tokyo, or at least what they call in the game Xanadu. You're running around like Xanadu, and it looks awesome. And then there's side-scroller elements of it, like 2D side-scroller, which is kind of shocking. I was a little shocked by that. But then there's also like third-person action RPG elements as well. So it's like a weird mashup of a bunch of different games. It could be good. I don't know if it's the one that I'm going to check out personally, but it looks cool. Especially if you're into all those different kinds of genres, kind of a blending of them all together. Alrighty. Next, they announced that Digimon Story Time Stranger is coming to Nintendo Switch July 10th, 2026. This game already came out on consoles a few months ago, last year. I heard it's pretty good. I don't know much about this game, I'll be honest with you, but I heard people enjoyed it, so that's all that matters. Now it's coming to Switch, so if you want to check Digimon Story Time Stranger out, then go ahead. If you haven't seen gameplay and you're interested in it, you like Digimon, go check out some gameplay online, because the game is already out on consoles. Alrighty. Next, they announced Grand Blue Fantasy Relink is coming to Nintendo Switch 2 July 9th. This is another action RPG that honestly looked pretty cool in my opinion. This is one that I thought looked cooler than some of the other JRPGs we saw. It's kind of got this like cool feature where you can play with a group of friends and stuff. So it looks fun. Who knows? Then we've got Monster Hunter Stories 3 Twisted Reflections, which is coming March 13th, 2026. I don't know if this one's out yet. I don't think so. But yeah, it's coming to Switch 2 on March 13th. It's a Monster Hunter story game. So if you don't really know what Monster Hunter Stories is compared to normal Monster Hunter, it's kind of a more kid-friendly version of Monster Hunter with kind of some cool stories. I've heard the stories are pretty good in them. They're pretty actually well written, well made, I feel like, for the most part, from what I've heard at least. They also kind of have the different sort of anime art style, and they're kind of more like almost Pokemon games where you're collecting monsters called monsties, and you're recruiting them and you're using them to fight other monsters and explore this world. So pretty cool. If you're interested in Monster Hunter Stories 3 for your Switch 2, then March 13th. Alrighty. Then we got a couple like console archives and arcade archives. So like old games coming that you can play from the console and arcade. You have Rave Racer gets an Arcade Archives 2 entry on February 26th. And console archives is also on the way with classics like Doraemon, Sonic Wings Special, and more. And the first wave, which comes out today, includes Cool Borders and Ninja Gaiden 2, The Dark Sword of Chaos. So if you want to check those games out again, or you want to check them out for the first time, at least for today with Cool Borders and Ninja Gaiden 2, The Dark Sword, now's your chance. Alrighty. Then we kind of got like a long sizzle reel that's kind of become a staple at these partner showcases, where we get a sizzle reel of a bunch of upcoming games coming to the Switch 2. Usually these are games that have already released or on the Switch 1. I mean, on normal like PlayStation or Xbox, or have already been announced for Switch 2, which just haven't come out yet anywhere. So I'll just go over all the games with their dates. So we have Scott, and these are all games coming to the Switch 2. So we have Scott Pilgrim EX coming March 3rd, 2026. Another Eden Begins, the Nintendo Switch 2 edition, coming summer 2026. Reanimal, coming February 13th, 2026. WWE 2K26, coming March 13th, 2026. Star Trek Voyager Across the Unknown, coming February 18th, 2026. Disney Dreamlight Valley Switch 2 Edition, coming March 25th, 2026. PGA Tour 2K26, coming February 6th, 2026. Cold Step Begins Switch 2 Edition, coming July 16th, 2026. Goat Simulator 3, coming April 1st, 2026. Shadow Tactics Blades of the Shogun, coming March 18th, 2026. And finally, Tales of Arise Beyond the Dawn Edition, coming May 22nd, 2026. Alrighty. Now for the final two sort of reveals of the showcase. First, we got another look at Resident Evil Requiem. I feel like every single show we've gotten more Resident Evil Requiem. I'm low-key at a point where you guys know my excitement. If you've seen any of my past videos on the channel, I cannot wait. This is when I did the last week when I did my top 10 most anticipated games of this year. This was my number 3. So I absolutely cannot wait for this game. And low-key, I don't need to see any more. I am done with trailers for it. I'm done with anything. Like, stop showing me stuff. I just want to play the game now. I want to get into it. I don't want any more I don't want to see anything more. I don't want anything to get spoiled, and that's kind of the risk you kind of get to when you get closer to release. But yeah, I just want to play the game now. It looks great. This is kind of just a trailer of talking about, yes, it's on the Switch 2. It looks good. It does actually look really good on the Switch 2, which is awesome. I think that's great. I know a lot of people in the industry have gone to last week check out games like Pragmata and Resident Evil Requiem on the Switch 2 to see how they play, and everyone kind of came back and said they both look and play really good, even in handheld mode, which is awesome. So good for Nintendo on doing that and really just making sure, and also good on Capcom for well optimizing their games for Switch 2. That's awesome. But yeah, basically most of the footage we saw was footage we've already seen of just in the Rhodes Hill Chronic Care Center, both Leon and Grace gameplay, kind of talking about it. Nothing really new, I'll be honest, that we've seen. There was a short glimpse of finally footage of gameplay outside the Chronic Care Center, which is something we have not really gotten much of yet. I feel like we've only just seen gameplay in the care center, and it still looked like gameplay outside the care center, but it looked like you're still at it, but you're just in the outside where it's Leon's got like a sniper and is sniping at it, and it looks like there's total chaos. Just a blown up helicopter, just everything. It looks like total chaos. So it'd be interesting to see what happens in the story with following that. But yeah, so they also announced that Leon and Grace are both getting amiibos, if you're into that, coming out summer 2026, and you can use it to get weapon skins, which is cool. They also talked about how both Resident Evil 7 and Village are coming to the Switch 2 on the same day as Requiem, so February 27th, 2026, which I think is a weird decision to put both those games, have them come out on the same day. I feel like you should have put them out maybe next week or in a few days from now so people can experience those two a few weeks before Requiem, but hey. And then, yeah, so that's kind of what we got. Honestly, just not much new stuff, just more of a look at Resident Evil Requiem. Still no demo yet. I don't know if we're going to get a demo. Again, I talked about that a few weeks ago. Who knows? With the rumor of a PlayStation Showcase coming, or a PlayStation State of Play, coming next week. Maybe we'll see Resident Evil Requiem again, even though I don't think we need to see more of the game. And maybe we'll get a demo a few weeks before. That'll be cool, but overall, no demo today. Alrighty. Now, finally, for the final sort of reveal of the showcase, we have Todd Howard. They kind of said, hey, it's a final reveal, and immediately cut to Todd Howard, which is a very strange cut. And a very strange thing to see when Nintendo is saying, hey, we got one final announcement. Here's Todd Howard. But yeah, Todd Howard was here to announce 3 popular Bethesda games that are finally coming to the Switch 2. So that's pretty cool. The 3 games were first Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition. That's right. Pretty popular, well-beloved Fallout game. Fallout 4 is coming finally to the Nintendo Switch 2. So if you've been a Nintendo player and only a Nintendo player and you wanted to experience Fallout 4, finally here's your chance. It's the anniversary edition, so it comes with all 6 DLCs and a bunch of the Creation Club creations that you can also use. It's a good game. Fallout 4 is a great game, so highly recommend if you want to try it on the Switch too. Graphics, I'll be honest, don't look the best, at least from what they showed. Not too impressive, but hey, it's coming February 24th, so not too long from now. They also showed off Indiana Jones and the Great Circles coming to Nintendo Switch 2, which is awesome, and it looked really good actually. Unlike Fallout 4, it looks great. I was pleasantly surprised with how good this game looks on the Switch 2, at least from what we saw. It's coming May 12th. Again, this is another great game from Bethesda. I really, really do like the Great Circle a lot. And so if you want to check it out, now's your time on the Switch 2. And finally, they announced that Oblivion Remastered is coming. Probably one of the bigger games of last year, one of the bigger surprises and pleasant surprises of last year was Oblivion 2. Oblivion Remastered, my bad. And it did really well and sales-wise, people loved it, it reviewed well. It was just a great overall remaster or remake, even though they call it remaster. And it's coming to Switch 2. They didn't give a date actually for this one, they just said 2026, so who knows with this one. But that's pretty cool that it's coming to the Switch 2. It's on every other console, so I'm glad it's now coming for Switch 2 players. But yeah, that was all that was announced. I will be honest, if I were to rate the showcase out of 10, I would give it like a 3 out of 10. And that is not good. To give you a comparison, the other showcase I got to rate on this channel, since I've started this whole rating thing, is the Xbox Developer Direct that was a few weeks ago, that was in January. And I gave that a 10 out of 10. I thought it was amazing. It was a great showcase. This, on the other hand, this was not great. And I know it's kind of hard to compare the two because they're very different in terms of what they're trying to do, but still though, this was not a great showcase. We didn't really get any big new announcements, I would say. I think the biggest announcements we've got were really just games coming to the Switch 2, which we obviously knew would happen. We'd be getting ports of games coming to the Switch 2, but we didn't think that would be the biggest thing to be announced, but that was. And so obviously, while games like Oblivion Remastered and Fallout 4 and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and Indiana Jones are all great announcements that they're coming to the Switch 2, those can't carry a show alone. And just getting more of Resident Evil Requiem when I don't need to see more of that game, it already looks fantastic. They've already proved me that this game is going to be amazing, even on Switch 2, so that just was there. The sizzle reel, again, it's just a bunch of games being ported or coming on the Switch 2 that we already know. There wasn't really anything I'd say too memorable or something that I want to check out other than games that I am planning on checking out on other consoles. I think that's kind of the biggest issue I have and a lot of people have with this showcase and just kind of the Switch 2 generation in general so far, is that their whole thing is they've been porting a lot of big AAA games to the Switch 2 that have been popular on PlayStations and Xboxes for so long now. But unless you're someone who exclusively plays on Switch 2, which is a lot of people, but there are also a lot of people who have a Switch 2 but also have a PlayStation or an Xbox or a PC as well. And I'll be honest with you, I'd rather play games like Oblivion Remastered or Indiana Jones, or when I'm talking about upcoming games, I'd rather play games like Reanimal or Resident Evil Requiem on my PlayStation compared to, or really any console of that nature compared to my Switch 2, I'll be honest. And while they look good, and it's impressive how good they look for the Switch 2, I still would rather take the even better looking version of it. So yeah, I think if they had focused more on some of their games that were coming to the Switch 2 that you can't get anywhere else, that are partner games, like, where was the Dustbloods? I can probably, if I thought more, I could probably think of even more games that are coming to the Switch 2 that aren't necessarily first party, but more third party, that just were missing. Like, if they wanted to try harder with the showcase, we could have gone some like the Dustbloods. That's a big deal. Right now, we don't know much of the Switch 2 for 2026 in terms of big games that are exclusive. We know of Orbitals, which is my game of this show. I think Orbitals looks fantastic. But other than that, I'd say that's the biggest Switch 2 exclusive we know so far that has a firm release date. There's updates coming to Super Mario World. There is probably going to be, Super Mario Wonder, which is an old game. There's going to be updates coming to Mario Kart World. There's the Yoshi game coming out soon. Like, we know of stuff, but and there's also Tomodachi Island, which looks great. Just had a showcase last week of it, and it looks awesome. But again, it's just not enough, and we just don't know much about what else Nintendo has later this year. And obviously, I think even Nintendo wants to avoid November and the end of the year because of GTA. Even Nintendo is probably trying to avoid GTA, but still though, I wish we just knew more of what was coming and saw games like the Dustbloods. But yeah, overall, not a great showcase, a little bit of a disappointment. Glad I didn't wake up early for it. But yeah, if you enjoyed the showcase, let me know in the comments below what you thought of it. If you enjoyed it, if you didn't enjoy it, what was your favorite game that you saw? What games are you excited that are finally coming? What games can't you not wait to play? If you've played the Pragmata demo, let me know. I will be talking about it probably on the Sunday news video, just giving a quick little thoughts about my Pragmata demo experience. But yeah, so overall, thank you so much for watching. This Sunday, finally another news roundup video, and I will be back with my co-host, so stay tuned for that. We'll finally be back with him on Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday. So yeah, might even record it on Saturday. Who knows, just because Sunday is Super Bowl. So yeah, I will see you all later. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.